Why the Super Bowl kind of sucks. Big Tug.
Super Bowl Sunday, the closest thing Americans can get to a real holiday without getting a day off from work. We stuff our faces with the physical embodiment of mortal sin known as buffalo chicken dip. Wash it down with a symphony of differently branded water-adjacent light beers.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be getting hammered on a Super Bowl. Oh, Super Bowl scripted? I don't think it's scripted. I think the refs are a bit whack sometimes, but the Super Bowl really is just a holiday where people eat a bunch of chicken wings, drink a lot of beer, and scream at their TV. The whole U.S. The reason the Super Bowl sucks is because the ad breaks, in all honesty. I like watching the Super Bowl ads, but they change the psychology of people to think the ads are fun and enjoyable, so they bear watching them, so they like spend more money on the ads and blah, blah, blah. And it's good that they do that so the ads aren't just boring. But they basically made it so humans are happy and enjoying getting things marketed and shoved down their throat for 2 out of the 5 hours that the Super Bowl takes.
Over time, the Super Bowl has become much bigger than itself, almost a parody of what it used to be. Much to the dismay of real football fans, Super Bowl Sunday is becoming more about the party that surrounds the game rather than the game itself. It's the celebrities, musicians, and fanfare that
Oh, I placed my bets last night. On lock. Eagles money line. Eagles money line. Not financial advice. I bet Eagles money line. Let's hear them. Y'all tell you the bets that I made. All right. I have first bet, just Eagles money line. Base bet. The next bet that I did, I put 3 anytime TDs. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Travis Kelce. Terrible odds. It's like plus 700. I put $100 on it. I won $700 if it hits. I have one that has Saquon anytime TD, Jalen Hurts passing yards, and Eagles money line. And then I have like one more, I think Jalen Hurts anytime TD. I only did a few, but it's because I put a lot of money on the money line. I just, because I don't like when I bet, I'll bet parlays on regular sports games, but if it's the Super Bowl, all I care about is who wins. So I don't want to be sitting there being like, oh, I need Travi to get another 3 passing yards. I need him to get rushing yards. I need him to get receiving yards. I need Travis to get 3 more yards. No, it's fucking annoying. It ruins the watching experience when I'm sitting there just tweaking about like one player getting a specific amount of receptions or passes or something like that pisses me off. So I'll just like when it's the Super Bowl, I mainly just bet like TDs and money lines because then it's just still interesting. Since the Eagles aren't in it, it makes me feel better if they lose because then if they lose, it's like, well, you know, we all lost. In my brain, I go, well, I lost money, but it's my team, so, you know, I'll front that.
Honestly, the people who show up to the Super Bowl party and actively ignore the game seem like they're having the most fun. Because they're not, you know, screaming at the TV. They didn't bet $300 on a play that obviously wasn't going to happen. If it just hits, we can go to...
Dude, the most degenerative shit I'll do is if I have a bet that hits, I'm telling you, I know I'm going to do this. Say, like, my regular, like, anytime TD on, like, Jalen Hurts hits, I'll start doing play bets. And I'll start betting on drives. Like, who's going to catch the ball in a specific drive. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
We can go to Disney this year, kids. But is that such a bad thing? You know, do you need to care about football to enjoy the Super Bowl? Well, let's find out just exactly where things started to head south or north. And at the same time, find out why your dad, who exclusively wears a Lions quarter zip to work, why he tells you to shut the f up during the game. So once again, Chris, hit me with the flashback. We're going back in time as we always do at the beginning of Big Tug videos. Whoa, flashback. Football was pretty much front and center at the first Super Bowl because, yeah, no shit, they didn't really know what entertainment was back then. Even though the NFL began all the way back in 1920, the first how the f do you say that word? Inaugural Super Bowl didn't take place until 1967. And the reason the big game was created in the first place was because of a little upstart called the American Football League. The NFL had squashed out all of its competition for the first 4 decades of its existence, but the AFL, established in 1960, had some money to spend, brother. They would be stomped out easily. It was
the AFL? They only had this many teams? What, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 teams?
Had some money to spend, brother. They would be stomped out easily. It was run by a fella named Lamar Hunt.
What's the newest NFL team? The Rams?
who was a son of a very famous oil tycoon out of Texas and was the heir to his massive fortune. The AFL was luring away top talent with massive contracts.
The Texans? When were the Texans made?
Like giving college star Joe Namath a then unheard $427,000 salary. I didn't adjust that for inflation. That's probably...
And that's crazy. They were getting paid that salary when they... 420... Wait, did he say that was adjusted or non?
I didn't adjust that for inflation. That's probably pretty normal. But at the time...
I didn't adjust that for inflation. So he got paid $427K in like what, 1930 or 1960? Oh, let's just do 1960. $427,000. What is that worth today? $4 million, bro. So how did they have the money to pay these NFL players then when there was no television? Because of radio, and they would market shit on the radio while people listened to the game. I just don't perceive that much money going into football then. Oil? Bro, yeah, dude just said oil, bro. Like, you just pissed me off. Hey, how do they have that much money as an NFL team to pay their players when they're not getting a return? Oil, bro. Have you heard of the Rockefeller? What are you, fucking stupid, dude? Are you historically? You're just saying, oh, because oil barons. Bro. They didn't have any shit to do with fucking NFL teams.
Even gained a foothold in the television market with an exclusive $36 million deal with NBC. For a few years,
okay, there it is.
Leagues tried to coexist, tried to live together in harmony. They even had a gentleman's agreement where they decided they wouldn't poach talent from each other's leagues. But of course, like any peace treaty a white man signs, it didn't last for long. The owners of the teams became worried that if they started sniping each other's talents, bidding wars would start driving up players' salaries and hurting their bottom line. So in 1966, they decided to do the twin fusion move and put their leagues together. But even before the leagues officially combined their business operations, they decided to take the step of unifying their brands by creating an AFL-NFL World Championship game. So in January of 1967...
Is that how that happens now, where it's like AFC North, NFC North?
The world's first Super Bowl took place. So it would be hard to imagine just how insane...
Wow, I did not know that.
...the Super Bowl would become if you attended the first one. Because this was a far cry from what we think of the Super Bowl as today. Well, it wasn't even close. Not even a little bit. Today, tickets to the game cost around like $8,600 just to get a seat. Back in 1967, you could get a ticket for $6 or $12 if you wanted to bool out. And even if you...
Yo, and dude... People that are paying $4,000 to fucking sit in the nosebleeds and watch ants play football and only see it on the Jumbotron when it's cold as fuck or what, like, dude, I never understand that at all. If I'm going to the Super Bowl, if you're going to the Super Bowl, do not go unless you have a good seat. Because if you're going to be paying that amount of money, I would rather watch it at my house than spend $5,000 on a ticket, spend the money to fly to that fucking city, to sit in the fucking nosebleeds, barely see anything, and just have the fan experience. Go to a fucking local bar, you can do the same thing. You can fucking sit in an Applebee's and have the same fan experience. Tailgating, that's different. You're not paying for tickets.
And I'm pretty sure that's the cost of a stadium beer nowadays. But even at those incredibly cheap prices, there were about 32,000 empty seats in the stadium for numero uno. No one really gave a shit about the Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl, no one really cared at all. At least not like they do today. And they tried to make things better. Like they tried to zhuzh up the halftime show, and that was a disaster. It featured 2 college marching bands and a drill team from a local high school.
Who's performing at this year's?
A local goddamn high school. But don't worry, we have a...
Isn't it Kendrick Lamar?
A surprise act that's gonna save the show. Guest trumpeter...
Yo, I hope he performs his old shit, like, so bad. Like, I hope he performs, like, Swimming Pools, ADHD, like that, like, 2013, 2012. He won't, though? You think he's only gonna perform new shit?
Al Hurt. You know Al Hurt? You guys love Al Hurt, right? Just for context, if you don't know about Al...
Yeah, I hope he plays Not Like Us 7 times. That's probably what's gonna fucking happen. And then this'll be me peeling my eyes out of my head when that happens, because I've heard that song 7,000 times. It's not a bad song, but it's becoming like listening to The Weeknd. When I hear Not Like Us, I'm like, yeah. It's not a bad song, but it's so overplayed. It was on every radio, every house party, every person's car, every person's playlist for fucking months. And now it's just, oh my God.
He wasn't even cool at the time. Al Hirt played Dixieland jazz, like the shit you hear in the back of like really silly blooper reels. Like no one was into this. And for the grand finale, they had a fantastic idea. At the end of the game, they released 10,000 helium balloons and a bunch of pigeons, like 100 pigeons. Not.
But is he allowed? Are you allowed to curse? Are you allowed to curse in the Super Bowl? No, right? Oh. That's gonna ruin the songs. Bro. So he has to sing his songs and bleep every curse word? That's so bad. That's so bad. That's gonna ruin every song. It's like listening to the fucking Kids Bop version.
Not the Blue Angels, but it's something. So yeah, a far cry from the current Super Bowl model that we have today. And like, also, we called it the Super Bowl.
There's kids watching. Yeah, there's kids watching grown men bash each other and give each other CTE. And they're not allowed to hear a curse word. There's kids watching grown men full force body slam each other into the fucking ground for money. Hurt each other for money, and they're not allowed to hear the word fuck. I made a philosophy YouTube channel. Go subscribe to it. Joe Barr Philosophy, link in description. There should be 1 or 2 videos already posted about, I think, artist self-portraits and then the meaning of life, just kind of 2 broad topics that I wanted as the first YouTube videos. It's more of a passion project. I got a philosophy and religion degree in college this past semester. It's something that I really like, and I'll stream specific philosophy reacts and rants here and there. And so those will be featured on that channel rather than the main now, because there's so much main content that I post every day. So I don't really want to cram this channel too much, so I'm going to move that over to the philosophy channel. So if you want to go subscribe to that, do that. The channel will basically be a culmination of philosophy reacts, rants on stream, and then also just ramblings. I'll probably record some content for that channel as well. When I, have a general philosophical thought or something at 2 in the morning and I want to kind of flesh that out into a video rant. So it'll more so just be that kind of stuff. Maybe some video essay, like, presentation type things as well, but more so just kind of me rambling about life and specific topics, whether it be death, morality, life, or anything of those sorts. So if you want to go subscribe to it, very much appreciated. Let's get back into the video.
Retroactively. Like that was not the name of the event until 3 Super Bowls in. Lamar Hunt called the game the Super Bowl in interviews, claiming he was inspired by the Whammo brand Super Bowl his kids were playing with at the time. And the name wasn't even popular at the time. Like, the people in the NFL and the fans thought it was fucking stupid, but the press loved it, so we stuck with it. Now it is the Super Bowl. But where do you go when you start at the Mariana Trench of bottoms? Well, surely nowhere but up. From its humble beginnings, the Super Bowl slowly became an American institution. Of the 10 most watched TV broadcasts in American history, 9 of them are the Super Bowl. The only thing in history that Americans watched more than the big game was the Apollo 11 landing, and they just tuned in because they were sure they were going to watch people die, and that's kind of why people tuned into the Super Bowl in the first place. The game has even gone global, broadcasting live to over 195 countries or territories in over...
How many bets are placed? Do you think the Super Bowl is the most widely bet on event? I would assume so. There's probably billions of dollars. The average number wagered by people. What? Wait. 2021, $4.3 billion was wagered by 23 million Americans. Last year, 68 million people bet over $23 billion. This year, it's likely to be even higher. Oh, fucking for sure. Every Philly fan is going to be placing their fucking month salary on the fucking Eagles, dude. Oh, God. $23 billion. The World Cup, I feel like the whole World Cup has more bets, but I would argue that the World Cup has less bets than the Super Bowl. The final match. $35 billion was wagered on the FIFA World Cup, 65% increase. But is that every match or just the winner?
Its popularity is completely tied with an abundance of consumerism. And if you thought I was going to do a whole big tug episode on the Super Bowl and not mention the horrors of capitalism, what the f did you think I'm going to do here? The more popular the Super Bowl has become, the more advertisers are willing to spend on it. And all that leads to more than $17 billion spent by consumers in the United States on Super Bowl related purchases. That being like the food you get for the game or like a jersey.
I'm excited for the Bud Light ad. I already saw it with Shane Gillis and Post Malone. See, dude, this is literally capitalism fucking marketing in me. I just said I'm excited to have an ad shown to me. I'm excited to watch a commercial. I'm excited to watch the Post Malone one. I will lock in on that.
Jersey you get for your dad, or like the streaming service you decide to sign up for because that's what the game's going to be on this week. The NFL needs to figure out streaming, Jesus Christ. Not to mention the economic impact for the host city that can reach upwards of $1 billion. And now we're at the
You just said ads ruin football. They do.
part where the Super Bowl has officially grown out of its toddler clothes. It's
every fucking play, man. And you'll see it more and more in the Super Bowl, too. Actually, the Super Bowl's a little bit different because in very important moments, they won't take the ad breaks, but they have scheduled ad slots for the Super Bowl, whereas in regular football, it's just kind of randomly they'll shove ads in. But it's so annoying when it's like the TV comes back on. You just watched 6 minutes of ads. You watched 3 minutes of football. A timeout's called. Run an ad, run an ad, run an ad, run the Bud Light ad, run the Bud Light ad. I'm like, fucking hell, dude. And then it cuts back. I'm like, I'd rather watch players just fucking stand there and dick around.
It's exploding. It's so ubiquitous and overreaching that even if you don't watch the sport, you end up going to a Super Bowl party because that's just what you do. And because of that, a lot of people see it as, well, it's just a party to a lot of people. And that pisses off the people who actually give a shit about the sport. But let's just
go watch on Nickelodeon, yeah, and have Plankton fucking... Oh, Plankton's on the field. Oh. Bro.
Let's go over some of the data to really show the disparity. 75% of Americans plan on watching.
Oh, the dirty bubble. Oh, he's naked on the field. He's rushing.
But only 38% of them actually give a shit about the sport. So it's a weird.
How do they factor that, though? 3/4 of Americans watch the Super Bowl. Only 38% actually care. Oh, I care.
Oh my god, that's a weird disparity between jocks and nerds, you know what I mean? According to surveys, an overwhelming majority of Americans are more excited for the halftime show, commercials, and drinking. It makes sense that Super
Oh, I hate when the halftime show runs on too long.
Bowl Sunday is overshadowed by the party itself. Because like the
I'm excited for Kendrick, though. I'm excited for Kendrick. Usher wasn't bad last year either. Usher was good. Especially when they had Lil Jon up there. I was like, damn, he looks good. No pause way. I'm just saying he looks good. I didn't seen Little John in like I haven't seen Little John in like 10 years.
The only day Americans eat more food is on Thanksgiving. We eat so much food on Super Bowl Sunday. 11.2 million pounds of chips are dipped into 8 million pounds of guacamole. 12.5 million pizzas are ordered. Over 1.45 billion wings are devoured. And approximately 14.
Wow, dude, that is so many dead chickens. Holy shit. 1.45 billion chicken wings? Oh, that's so many dead chickens.
15 billion burgers are burgered, or grilled. Why did I say burgered? And to wash it all down, approximately 50 million cases of beer are sold. God, doesn't that stat just want to, don't you want to get...
I'm going to be drinking Guinness, dude. Oh, I'm telling you right now, I'll be drinking Guinness.
But I mean, if you're trying to get someone into Super Bowl
or Miller Lite
Sunday, this amount of food and booze is a surefire way.
Yo, should I drink Bud Light? And then during the Bud Light commercial, yo, chat, I'll drink Bud Light during the Super Bowl, film myself during the Bud Light commercial, and then I'll show you guys. It'll just be me going.
Everyone loves an excuse to party, and that's pretty much what the Super Bowl has become. In fact, 16.1 million Americans plan to call off from work the next day. 6.4 million workers plan on going into work late, and approximately 6 million employees will call in sick. And I don't know what this...
Not nearly the numbers that GTA 6 will see. The day GTA 6 drops, the world will shut down for a day.
Does to the economy, but it cannot be good. All told, the financial impact from our collective super hangover is estimated to cost companies around $6 billion. Okay, so I put it in the script. I didn't remember that, so I'm glad I got that answer immediately. Honestly, I don't really care about the bottom line of business daddies. I don't really care what happens to them, but I do find it interesting that Super Bowl...
You better not start stream late. Oh, I won't start stream late. It'll be a Monday. I won't go live till 4:30. I'll stream early on Super Bowl Sunday, which is next Sunday.
As someone who, look at me, doesn't really care about football. I don't want to shock you, but I mean, Jesus Christ. But when you go to these parties, you're going to have to navigate certain types of people in order to get out of there alive. So I've broken down the types of people you're going to meet into categories, and I'm calling it Big Tug's Big Game Party Archetypes, which is BT, BG, PA. I don't know. I could have done that better. So up first, the one person we really got to worry about are the actual football fans. They're different. So actual football.
You don't fuck with them. Don't talk to them about the commercials. Don't ask them. Don't talk during. The only thing that matters with football, especially around football fans during the Super Bowl, don't talk about non-football related shit while the game is on. When the commercial runs, who gives a shit? Talk about whatever. Right? When the game's on, though, don't be like, so did you like the Doritos ad? I don't know. I would say my number 1 or 2 is probably the Doritos ad, or I don't know. Posty looked pretty good, so something like that. But after, then who gives a shit?
Football fans recognize each other in 2 distinct ways. Either by dress code, being
Panthers are taking it home this year.
like a jersey, but not like you can't just like pick up any jersey. It has to be like a vintage logo or like a player.
No, be really annoying. Oh my God. If you're going to a Super Bowl party, please just sit right next to the Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl Eagles fan that's just really into the game. And whenever they get a touchdown, be like, goal? Oh, home run! Home run! Oh, that's our ball. Oh, that's our ball.
Or they recognize each other by like when someone sits down and they're all watching the game and they're actually watching, and then they start talking ball knowledge. For example, one of them might say, wow, I can't believe the D is running a 2-high nickel shell against the PFF's highest ranked tight end tandem. No clue what any of that means.
I don't know what the fuck that means either.
But if someone says that, you know they're in the know. These people will band up together for the rest of the night and kind of just shit on everyone else who's not paying attention. And okay, so like it's easy to hate on these people because we outnumber them at this point, but like it's their big day. Let's not be dicks, okay? And they're super important because the majority of the night is watching a football game, and if you don't know what's going
I have a friend that can list the last 5 years of the first round draft picks, what college they went to, their name, and what team they went to. Like, no problem. I could go, give me the 2021 4th pick, and he could tell me who drafted that, why. I don't know. He's obsessed with it. It's like, it's like an obsession that he has. I quizzed him one day. He was like, just tell me. And I was like, 5th pick, 2022. He goes, oh, it was the Panthers drafted blank and blank from this college. He's this tall.
on, you're going to need them to...
Why?
You're going to need them to dumb it down for you. So be kind, offer to get them a beer every time you get up from the couch. Just really keep it low-key. They're going to talk a lot of shit to you. You just got to handle that because you need to figure out what the is going on. The worst thing you can do to these people, though, is talk about the commercials. They hate that. They don't... Oh my God, if you ask them what they thought about that commercial, they'll kill you with their eyes.
There's a few commercials that I care about. But I also don't think that I think I'm in the in-between. Like, I care about football, but I'm also, like, more invested into it because I bet on it. Like, if I didn't put money on it, I probably wouldn't care as much.
And also, it must be said that Super Bowl commercials are not what they used to be in the early 2000s and 2010s. They've fallen from grace extremely, so it's not that big of a deal anymore, but still, don't...
Yeah, they're nowhere near as good as they used to. I feel like they have to pan too well to a generalized audience rather than being just like a funny niche commercial that people can enjoy.
Mention it to them. Now, this next group of people are going to seem like the first group of people,
The Tubi one, is that the one where they acted like your phone turned off? That one was, or not your phone turned off. Like, you accidentally tabbed out of the channel. That was a really good one. That was a good commercial. And I know there's videos of people, like, searching for they're like, who the fuck changed the channel? Who the fuck changed the channel? They start freaking out.
But they are distinctly different. And these are the degenerate gamblers, okay? Degenerate gamblers and the Super Bowl go hand in hand. It's like ebony and ivory. Last year, 26 of American adults, nearly 68 million people placed a wager on the game. And the total amount of these wagers is approximately $23 billion. That's a lot of shoe money that their people's children need. So that being said, statistically, there's
but it's surely gonna hit, dude. I'm telling you right now. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce, anytime TDs, lock. Joe Bart lock. Don't actually trust me. I'm down all time in sports betting and gambling. I'm not somebody that you should take advice from on gambling.
Going to be at least one degenerate gambler sitting next to you at a party. Now, once again, you'll notice them, and they're going to be yelling at the TV just like the sports fans, but they're going to have esoteric knowledge about the game. They're going to have knowledge about really extremely minute things because they placed a...
Well, and there's also, if it's not a team that I care about, I'll place bets on both teams, so I don't really care who wins. Like, I'll do this on regular season play, where I don't really care who wins. I just want specific players to get specific stats.
A 10-leg parlay on very specific moments in the game, and they need to really let those things fucking hit. And you can bet on anything at the Super Bowl. You can bet on the coin toss. You can bet on the color of Gatorade that's dumped on a dude's head at the end. And while the other dudes might get angry at the TV screen, they're not going to get scared. And that's the difference between a degenerate gambler and a regular football fan. The degenerate gambler gets scared during the game. Because if certain things happen or certain things don't happen, they will not be able to eat tonight. It's just best to give these people a wide berth, or at the very least start gambling with them so they can cry on someone's shoulder who understands. And then finally, we have a group of people that a lot of us were, a lot of us are, and we need to discuss it. And these people are the sports ball people. We got to stop doing this, guys. Listen, in 2013, this was a good joke. When you showed up to a sporting event and you were like, oh, I don't know anything about what's this, sports ball? What are these jocks talking about? That joke's not funny anymore. It's actually really pathetic. You please understand that it is not good. These are the people who show up to the party and think they're better than everyone else because they don't.
Well, that, and then, dude, even if you don't know shit about football, if you've watched 2 Super Bowls, you could watch 2 football games and get it. If you've watched 2 Super Bowls and that is the only football experience you ever have, you know enough about the game to understand what's happening. The rules are complex, yes, but it's like if you watch fucking 6 hours cumulatively, you understand it.
Listen, I was there. We were all Tumblr kids. We all get that. But you have to understand that not liking fun things doesn't make you interesting. It makes you boring. That's a really important fact of life that we all have to learn at one point. Don't talk about how the NFL's evil because of their concussion protocol. Don't talk about like everything I talked about with the money. Don't leave that shit at the door. So just knock it off, all right? We're done with that. But now that we've discussed all the weird people at the party, let's discuss the game itself. And I'm not going to talk about football because I don't know anything about that, but we can talk about the fanfare. Usually we pay extra money to avoid ads in America, like premium streaming services like Netflix or Extra Tug. And go to extratug.com and see a bunch of fun, just fun. But Super Bowl commercials have become the cultural currency of water coolers and lunch breaks on the Monday after the game. And advertisers are willing to pay anything to get their product in front of hundreds of millions of eyeballs. During the first Super Bowl,
I hated that ad. It was just the epitome of trying to be weird to be memorable, and it worked, and it annoys me that it worked. Puppy Monkey Baby. Puppy Monkey Baby. And it was like, that's such a weird commercial. But it was memorable because they just said the same thing over and over again, and he was holding a Mountain Dew.
Today, a 30-second Super Bowl ad costs $7 million. That's about $233,333 per second on the TV. The buzz from commercials became such a big deal that in 1989, USA Today created the Super Bowl Ad Meter. It's a real-time survey that asks consumers how they felt about each Super Bowl ad. The results are used as a measure.
Car commercials always have the worst ads. Always. You never know. Even during the Super Bowl, they have the worst ads because they don't know how to get their car brand known. Maybe outside of Ford, but every other one, it'll just be like an emotional 3-minute video. And then it just cuts. Nissan. And that glazes over my brain. I didn't even read the car company, and I just went, what the fuck was that about? I just watched a guy die in a war, and then his mom had a car and drove it to the funeral. And that was the ad.
But even though these ads never topped the ad meter list, I'd be remiss not to mention the Bud Bowl. Variations of this ad ran during the Super Bowl from 1989 to 1997, featuring bottles of Budweiser and Bud Light playing a game of football against each other. And this is, these commercials are perfectly stupid. This is just like, this is what you expect to see on Super Bowl Sunday. The bottles are wearing helmets. The fans are cans. It's all perfect. It's all laid out before us. The Bud Bowl was America. Unfiltered. Golden roasted tobacco. So we get through the pregame some of the ads. Now it's time for the big thing that people mostly care about, which is the halftime show. The big kahuna, the thing that you can't believe how much money they spent on this goddamn thing. But it wasn't always a huge production. For the first several decades,
it's wild to me that they don't pay the performers to perform at all. The value they receive from being able to perform their music is so high that the actual performing artist themselves gets no money. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, Kendrick's making nothing from performing. I think they help cover the fees for performance, like the stage and all that shit, but they don't get paid anything because the amount of publicity you get, like, his music will 700% buy listens the day after the Super Bowl. Like, Usher performed, and I don't know if they had the statistics on that. Usher's Spotify streams increased by 550% in the US following his Super Bowl performance. They always do so much better. Usher didn't get paid by the Super Bowl, but how much did his exposure generate? Usher earned an estimated equivalent of $52 million in exposure while performing. and appearing in a related pregame sit-down interview on CBS. So they also get ads and other things that are, like, correlated to it. And his apparently didn't do as well as other halftime shows. That's crazy, though. Because you're basically performing in front of almost all of the U.S.
Decades of its existence, the Super Bowl halftime show was primarily a showcase for marching bands. But then the Super Bowl 23 halftime show was completely unhinged. It was broadcast in, quote, 3D and featured an Elvis impersonator named Elvis Presto. Finally, at Super Bowl 25 with Whitney Houston, they figured out the formula. Use pop stars. Just use goddamn pop stars. Today, performing at the halftime show is a bucket list item for any pop star trying to make their way in this world. But it's more about legacy and exposure, because this gig does not pay that much, I found out. You don't earn a single cent doing the halftime show. None of the celebrities have ever earned any money doing that. However, generally, performers will see a boost in their streams and album sales over 300.
Yeah, unless they bomb. And even if you do bomb, you get name publicity for bombing, which still just brings you publicity and fame.
100%, so it evens out. At one point,
I started listening to Usher's music, like when he performed Yeah, where it's like, yeah, 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 I hadn't heard that song in years. After he performed it, I started listening to it. I had not listened to Usher in fucking forever.
The NFL even tried to get performers to pay to get on the halftime show. But even with a very weird business model, there's no denying just how grand a spectacle the halftime show can be. I mean, Prince performing Purple Rain while it was raining was generational peak. And then there was the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson nipple thing where she showed her nipple. That was weird. And of course, the Katy Perry halftime performance.
I don't remember that. She showed her nipple on the Super Bowl? Was it blurred?
Which birthed the meme of the left shark who had no f***ing clue what he was doing, and I love that little guy. And then to finish it out, there is the game. The football game. And like I said, I don't care about it. Most people don't care about it, but to the people who do, it means a lot. So just give them their space. But statistically, throughout a football game, only 11 minutes of the actual game are played. I like hockey, and a lot of hockey is played.
What? No. That's not true. That's not true. Oh, I think that's factoring in, like post-hike. Post-hike. You know what I mean? Because the clock still counts. The clock still counts, yeah, like pre and post down, like pre-snap and post down.
I don't know how you have the time to decide who's the better team in only 11 minutes. That makes no sense to me. And what is special teams? And I just want to talk about how football confuses the shit out of me as an absolute dork on the internet. Listen, I'm trying to learn, but like every time there's a play is done and someone explains, there's like a billion plays that you can do. And then there's a bunch of types of penalties that don't make any sense to me. There always seems to be a new rule that, oh, you can't do that. That's a rule. Tom Brady made sure of that. And when your team loses, your city gets burned down, and when your team wins, you burn down your city. If you're Philadelphia,
yeah, no, Philly just burns down the city either way, which is always just fucking terrible. I'm wondering how bad that'll be. Some kid died falling off a fucking light pole because they try to climb it. They grease the poles in Philly, so you can't climb them.
Just doesn't seem like fun at all. I don't know. We should have two separate things at this point. We should have a Sunday in February where everyone, just has a party, and a Sunday where the game happens, and those are completely different things. Let the mass media sell you ads during the party. Just everyone sit down and just zone out watching the TV. Let the football people watch football and gamble their life savings away. I think that's what it should be at this point. Anyway, no conclusion. I guess that was a conclusion. Like, comment, and subscribe. New videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Shout out to the Extra Tuglets, though. They're the real.
I love that video. Love Big Tug. Last Super Bowl was one of my rich neighbors were blaring loud music, so I asked if I could hang out. Ended up getting drunk and sleeping on their couch. That's hilarious. All right. I gotta piss, though. Coming out 30 seconds.